Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. So I hope everyone is safe and sound whenever you are currently. Okay, so today we are going to learn more about the five kingdoms, and as you can see here, this is a diagram, and I like to think this diagram as a tree of life simply because the shape of this diagram is like a tree. And I also think that this diagram is so powerful because a lot of information are embedded in this diagram, and we can extract and learn more just from this one diagram. Okay, so this is just a quick recap from the previous lecture, and there are two cell types, which are the prokaryotes and also the eukaryotes, and they are color coded with the green color. And then we have the domains. So we have three domains, which are archaea, bacteria, and the eukarya, and they are color coded with yellow. And the next one is we have five kingdoms, which are the moneras, the protists, the animalia, the fungi, and also the plantae, and they are color coded with purple. So this is the classification of the biologists on the living things. So over the years, the biologists have been trying to understand the classification of living things, and it started with the Linnaeus in 1735, where he introduced the two kingdoms named Vegetabilia and also the Animalia. Then in 1866 came Haeckel, where he polished the system by Linnaeus and introduced the third kingdom, which are the Protista. Then in 1938, Copland polished the system and added the fourth kingdom, which is the Monera, and followed by the Whittaker in 1969, where he added the fifth kingdoms, which are the fungi. And the most recent development was made by this Prof. Cavalier Smith in 1998. He was a professor in Oxford University, and he rearranged and renamed the kingdoms and introduced the six kingdoms. So the kingdom of the plantae, fungi, and animalia, they remain the same, but he renamed the Monera and Protista kingdom into bacteria, protozoa, and also the Chromista kingdom. So for the purpose of this course, we are going to focus on the Whittaker's five kingdoms because it is the most established and widely accepted, and Kingdom Monera is the only kingdom in prokaryotes, whereas the other kingdoms are the eukaryotes. Let's focus on this diagram again because it's so powerful, as I mentioned just now. And the first kingdom is the Monera down here. And Kingdom Monera is the oldest and also the most abundant organisms, and it has two subkingdoms, which are known as the Archaebacteria and also the Eukarya. So the Archaebacteria are the organisms that can live in extreme environments, in the most acidic environment, most alkaline environment, the highest temperature or the lowest temperature, for example. And also the Eukarya, the second subkingdom is the Eukarya, which also known as the true bacteria. Kingdom Protists or the Kingdom Protista, they are divided into three types of organisms. They have the animal-like, the fungi-like, and the plant-like organism. Okay, so if you see here, so this is the example of the animal-like. Okay, the amoebas, the flagellates, the ciliates. Okay, so this is the animal-like organism. And then the fungi-like organism is, for example, like this, the slime molds. And also the third category for the Protista is the plant-like organism, which is this one, the green algae, red algae, brown algae, diatoms, and dinoflagellates. And the reason why these protists, they have three different types of organisms, because these type, for example, the animal-like, they will evolve into another kingdom called the Kingdom Animalia. And the fungi-like organism in Kingdom Protista, they evolve into Kingdom Fungi. And the plant-like organisms in the Kingdom Protista, and they evolve into the Kingdom Plantae. Okay, the next one is Kingdom Animalia. So Kingdom Animalia, mostly we can categorize them further based on the backbone, on the presence and also the absence of the backbone. So the vertebrates or the invertebrates. And kingdom fungi, so such as the yeast or the mushroom, are the typical example for the fungi, and they reproduce through the spore dispersal. And the last one is the kingdom plantae. Okay, so kingdom plantae can be further categorized into the flowering and also the non-flowering plants, or lower plants, higher plants, and so forth. And they are autotrophs, meaning that they can make their own food. Okay, so I'm sure that you have seen this table from from previous lecture. So this is the table summarizing the comparison between all the 5 kingdoms, and Monera is the only prokaryotes, and they do not have the internal cell membranes because they are the prokaryotes, and the rest are the eukaryotes. Okay, as for the cell wall, only Animalia, kingdom Animalia, absent in the cell wall, because generally animal cells, they don't have the cell wall. And in terms of the mode of nutrition, mostly the Monera, Protista, and Plantae, they are able to make their own food, which means that they are autotrophs, except for the fungi and Animalia and some of the Monera and Protista. So meaning that all the heterotrophs, they have to depend on other organisms for their nutrition. And the last one is the representative group. So these are the examples of the organisms in each kingdom. This is the mind map that I found for Kingdom Plantae, and I think it is very useful for you to take a look. And it has several information in here. So for example, the composition of the cell wall, the nutrition, on the locomotion of the Plantae, how do they move, meaning that but this is for the Kingdom Plantae, they do not move. Okay, and the vascular tissue, the absence or the presence of the vascular tissue, the transpiration, and also how they reproduce. Also, this is the diagram or poster on the classification of animals, and as mentioned just now, we can divide them into 2 different categories, which are the vertebrates and the invertebrates. Vertebrates are the organisms or the animals with the backbone, and invertebrates are the animals without the backbone. And for the vertebrates with the backbone, we can further differentiate them between 2 warm-blooded and also the cold-blooded. And for the invertebrates with the jointed legs or the without legs. So that's all for today, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Thank you.